Hey, and welcome to the channel. For the last 3 or so months, my wife and I have been remodeling our travel trailer to get it ready for a road trip of a lifetime. We purchased a Primetime LaCrosse RK3311, and even though it was a brand new travel trailer, we wanted to make it feel more homey by doing some remodeling and making some cosmetic changes. And so we've spent all of our quarantine time doing that. We're finally out on the road, and it feels good so far. We've only had a few minor setbacks, but for the most part, things have been really good. We just wanted to share with you guys the first week of our life on the road. Other than the short drive from the dealer to our storage, we had really never towed the trailer before, so this was our first time. And fortunately for us, it was still just a quick trip from storage to a campsite in town, but we were still a little bit nervous. We weren't quite sure if our truck was really up for the job. The specs and the numbers lined up and they seemed okay, but we were a little nervous about our first trip out on the road.
How are you feeling?
Good. A little nervous.
Don't be nervous, because then you're going to make me nervous. How long are we?
The trailer is 37.5 feet. Our truck is 18 feet, 20 feet.
Alright, ready when you are.
Alright, here we go. I'm sure I don't have to file another insurance claim already.
Looking good. Very nice. Now I have full confidence. That wasn't so bad at all.
We were towing with a 2019 Ram 1500, and like I said, the specs seemed to be good enough to tow our trailer, but the ride was still a bit rough and bumpy, and so we had a bit of concern about that. We also decided to stay in town just because we knew that there would be a lot of loose ends to tie up.
Dylan's first time of many going to check in. So exciting. Even though we're still in our hometown, that's alright because I think we can say we're officially full-time RVers. How cool is that?
Anytime you move, whether it's from a house to a house or an apartment to a house, or in our case, from a house to an RV, there are always a lot of little things that you just don't think about. A lot of little loose ends that are usually last minute deals that you have to take care of, and we certainly had our share of those. And so we decided to stay about 15 minutes away from where our house was that we were selling, just so that we could easily take care of any problems or issues that we might have. And we're very grateful that we did that, because there were some slight issues or problems that we just had to end up taking care of. I should also say that in the process of our first week of camping, we were also moving out of our house. We signed the closing papers during our stay at our campsite, and we also, the day before that, and a little bit of the same day, we're moving things out of our house and into storage, and so it was a hectic time for sure. A lot of fun being out at the campsite, but we really couldn't enjoy all of it because we were still busy tying up loose ends and moving our house and signing papers and doing all of that fun stuff. The best part about staying locally though was that we were able to have some family over for a couple of cookouts. Our first week out was the weekend of 4th of July. We were actually camping for more than a weekend, but it happened to be 4th of July weekend, and so we had some friends and family over on a couple of occasions to enjoy a meal with one another, to sort of have an open house for our family with all of the coronavirus stuff going on. We just had our kind of immediate family over to look at our new home and to enjoy some time together before we hit the road, and we're so glad that we could do that. Another reason why we're glad that we camped locally before actually hitting the road and leaving our hometown is because we had a middle of the night kind of premonition, if you will, or something dawned on us that if it had dawned on us while we were out of town might have been a little bit more difficult to deal with. And that is that we decided that we needed a bigger truck. Well, our first week of camping has been full of a lot of discoveries and changes and updates and fun stuff. We were in the process of officially moving out of our house and into our trailer, so we've been dealing with all the hassles of moving. Plus, on top of that, we had kind of a late night epiphany last night and made kind of a spur of the moment decision, which we are really good at. We do that all the time. We decided last night that we wanted to get a bigger truck. We were towing our 38-foot travel trailer with a Ram 1500, and the numbers were close. I think we were technically within the limits. Payload was very close. We may have been just a bit over on the payload. So I think we could have survived if we kept that truck, and I think we would have probably still had fun. But that nagging insecurity would have kind of always been in the back of our minds that we're really close to our numbers, or maybe even over on some of our numbers. So last night, right before we wanted to go to sleep, we decided to look at new trucks, well, new to us trucks. So we traded in our 2019 Ram 1500 for a 2018 3500. And we're just driving back from the dealer now, back to camp, and we already feel good about it. Financially, it was not a smart decision, which again, we're good at that stuff. We just make dumb choices sometimes. We've only had our 1500 for 3.5 months. So financially it was dumb, but we have peace of mind now. We feel good about it. So that's really all that counts. We want to have fun while we camp. We don't have to be worried about our truck or our numbers. So we feel good. We're excited. We have to do some modifications now. Our trailer hitch is too small for the receiver on this truck, so we've got to go get a new hitch. I know there's some small things, a truck bed, we need one of those, and it's only summer here in Florida, so it rains every day, which is very inconvenient because all of our stuff is in the bed of our truck. So we've got to figure that out. But overall, we're excited, we're glad that we upgraded, so we feel good. So that's one major thing that's happened so far this week. Our first week of camping was at the KOA in Kissimmee, Florida, just about 10 minutes or so from Disney and maybe 15 or 20 from Universal. It's just right down the street from where we live, and it was a really nice campground. I hope that it wasn't so nice that it set every other campground up to be a disappointment, but it was very convenient, very nice, very clean. One of my favorite things about it, is kind of silly to say, but one of my favorite things about the campground was that they would come and pick up your trash. You just leave your trash by the street, and then someone would come around in a golf cart and pick up whatever you left out there, which was really nice for us because, like I've said, we were moving things, we were getting rid of things, we were buying things, so we had a lot of things that we had to throw away, had to deal with, and that made it really convenient. Another thing that we really loved about our KOA was the convenient little store that was located in the office. Again, since we were moving and since we had so much to do, all of these little things that seemed to steal away all of our time, it was nice to just walk a few steps over to the shop to get whatever we might have needed. We ended up running out of water one evening, and we really didn't want to make a special trip to the store, so we were able to walk over and just get a few bottles of water to tie us over for the evening. While it wasn't the most cost-effective thing, it was certainly the most convenient to only have to walk maybe 200 yards or so, rather than loading up in the truck and driving to Walmart or Target or Publix to get some water. So it was very convenient. I don't know how common that is. This was our first week camping. Maybe every campsite has that, I don't know. But we really enjoyed that, and we thought it made our lives a lot more convenient. In between signing papers and moving boxes and tying up all those loose ends, we were able to enjoy ourselves for a couple of evenings. We did have a couple campfires. Like I said, we had a cookout or two, and we were able to make s'mores, which is something you just gotta do, especially as a newbie to camping. So we were able to have some fun in that regard, and we're so glad that we were able to find time for that. So that our first couple of days as full-time campers were not just a miserable headache, but we were able to find some enjoyment, and we really are looking forward to more evenings like that on the road. Now, we did run into some issues, unfortunately. You always hear, if you're in any Facebook group about camping or RVing, or even if you just know anything about owning an RV of any kind, travel trailer, Class A, Class C, whatever it might be, you know that inevitably you are probably going to run into some issues with your RV. A lot of people recommended to us that we purchase a used RV. In hindsight, maybe we should have, but we didn't, so we're stuck with what we have. And since it is a new trailer, we encountered some of those, what they like to call breaking in issues. And oddly enough, they were all in our bathroom. Our bathroom was a slip and slide for a couple of days, it seemed like. Our shower was leaking water on the floor, our sink was leaking water on the floor, and our toilet was leaking water on the floor from two places. So all in all, at one time, there were 4 leaks in our bathroom. Now, I will admit, at least one of those was my fault. When I was working in the bathroom, I took the sink off of the countertop. It's one of those bowl sinks. I took the sink off the counter, and in order to do that, I had to take off some of the plumbing components. And when I put it back together, I lost a piece that I couldn't put back on, so that was the reason for that leak, and that was a simple fix, luckily. But our shower was leaking water every time we used it, and our toilet was leaking from the base of the toilet and also from the water supply line that connected to the toilet. Now, luckily, we were able to get all those issues fixed for the most part. The only one that still might exist is the shower, but that's just something I think we're going to have to learn to live with. But the toilet definitely gave me the most trouble. I think we've got it fixed now. I would show you how it looks, but I am just a little bit embarrassed about how I had to fix that. I ended up searching and searching and searching on Lowe's website, on Home Depot's website, on Ace Hardware's website for a replacement valve for the supply line that runs from the wall into the toilet. It connects to the valve, and it's just a simple screw-on adapter. But I just could not find a replacement. I couldn't even find it at Camping World. And so, after exhausting every search engine that there is, I could not find anything to replace it with, so I finally had to break down and decide to purchase some epoxy putty. I really didn't like the idea because it's somewhat of a permanent fix, but I was getting desperate. The toilet is not conveniently located in our bathroom. It's obviously a very tight space, so kneeling down and trying to work behind the toilet was just no fun. It's not something I wanted to spend hours and hours doing. So I bought some epoxy putty. I put that on, waited for it to dry. It was still leaking. So I put some more on, waited for it to dry, and it would still leak. And I did that over and over until I finally ran out of putty. And it looked like I had put a baseball at the end of our supply line. And that still didn't work. So I finally bought some Flex Seal, that spray-on rubber. I found a clear Flex Seal. I was able to spray a couple of coats of that on, and it finally stopped the leak. Now, it still looks terrible. Luckily, it's hidden behind the toilet. But we got the leak stopped, and I guess that's really all that matters. But if you're ever in our travel trailer, don't look at it. It's embarrassing. It does not look good at all. But we're able to get all of our leaks fixed, and so far things have been great since then. So, other than a few minor setbacks, I would say that our first week of camping was a success. We were able to enjoy ourselves, we had a lot of fun, and most importantly, we stayed safe. If you're interested in more RV related content, if you want to keep up with all that we are doing and plan to do in the future, or if you just want to continue to laugh at me as I make corny videos on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and if you do subscribe, make sure that you turn on notifications so that you're notified anytime we upload a piece of content. Thank you for tuning in. We hope that you'll follow us as we continue this journey. We're so excited to have you with us, and we'll see you on the road.